You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. If you're a smoker or dipper looking to make a change, you really only need one reason to do it. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you can find many. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch. It's made with only 6 simple ingredients. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction, but there's only one Zyn. Learn more about Zyn and find your reason to make a change by registering online at Zyn.com.
Time to work on your gift list with Black Friday deals at the Home Depot. Right now, get a select tool from top brands like Ryobi and Milwaukee for free when you buy a select battery kit. Choose from reciprocating saws, multi-tools, sanders, and more. Whether you're stocking up on power for your personal workshop or grabbing the perfect gift for someone else's. Get Black Friday tool deals delivered from the Home Depot. Limit 1 per transaction. Exclusions apply. Full eligible tool list in-store and online. Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
Stugotz has a updated list on Jewish quarterbacks in celebration of the Jewish quarterback for BYU.
BYU.
BYU. Is anyone making those T-shirts? Because if they are not, I believe those T-shirts are something that should be made because this is the best BYU team we've seen in a minute, the most relevant BYU team that we have seen in a minute. Probably. Can I dare say this? I'm going to say, am I going to go back to either Ty Detmer or their undefeated seasons of Steve Young to go back and find Brigham Young teams that might be as good as this one?
I think Steve Young, Ty Detmer, Robbie Bosco, all those teams, right? You have to go back to like the early 80s to find a BYU team that was this good.
What was the last BYU team to win the championship? Was it the undefeated one, late 80s vote that won the national championship that was 13-0? Maybe
I think so.
90s. We will look that up in a second. But Stugotz has another list, and we will get to it in a moment. I want to get to the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight as well. And there was a fight in hockey last night in the Panthers game that I want to get to.
BYU won it in 1984. I believe it was Ty Detmer.
No, Ty Detmer was after that. Wasn't it? Yes, that's not Ty Detmer.
Maybe Robbie Bosco. Great quarterback name, by the way.
It is a great quarterback name. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Robbie Bosco a great quarterback name? Chris, I was surprised and delighted in the last segment because you did almost effortlessly and proudly a read of a Game Time app, Game Time ad that was professionally done, segued well, and your reading was, much to my surprise, excellent. However, you made what I'm going to call a tragic mistake, and I don't think I'm overstating it. You cannot do an ad in which you get the information wrong on what someone's savings can be. You have now false advertised by reading something that I thought you read well in the worst way you could possibly read it, because it would be better if you stumbled all over it than you told people during a live read that they're getting more of a discount than what it is you've advertised.
That's right. And this is a good old-fashioned, what we call in the business, a make good. And here it is. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase, which is a huge savings.
Yes.
If you're,
but not as huge as 20% off, which is what you said.
It honestly depends on how cheap the tickets are.
Mistakes happen.
Honestly.
I mean,
So I don't know. But it was a mistake by me.
Right.
Use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app. And we remind you, Tony, what time is it?
Game time.
Is that going to haunt you forever? I mean,
I'm like Spo. I'm like Billy, how Billy thinks Spo is. I'm good.
Yeah, you'll
Shake
be
it off.
fine. Yes, that's right. That is why you're not as excellent at coaching as Erik Spoelstra
He's
is.
won 2 titles. Like, get over it.
should have won 4. I mean,
That
whatever.
is,
we digress.
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Billy, and
You
you're
were
not
promised 8.
and you're not wrong either. Like, yes, Erik Spoelstra should be gentle and forgiving on himself in a way that is humane and kind and decent to himself based on a lifetime of success. He will not be. It is not the way that human being is built.
I mean, they're going to lose plenty of games this year. Why let this one be the one that bothers
Billy,
him?
you are right as a life coach, as a therapist, as a philosopher. You are correct if you're trying to lead Erik Spoelstra to happiness.
To sanity.
But it's not how he wins championships.
Well, it's a cop-out. He's going to be like, well, the whole season fell apart because of this one. It's like, no, it's all the other losses, bud. You should have been a better coach all those other games, too, not just the one loss. It wasn't the timeout that derailed this season.
I'm a little confused.
Jimmy playing 40 games this year.
I'm confused why Billy's confused about this. He rarely is the reason that they lose. This was him.
Well,
it's on him, yes.
if you believe in coaching, he's always the reason.
That's
they
the
lose.
difference in other
Third
losses.
quarter adjustments.
I will tell people some of the stories in the relationship that Pat Riley and Erik Spoelstra have because it is a fascinating relationship, at least in part because Spoelstra, not unlike Billy, Mike, Chris, and Roy, grew up in a professional environment where Riley was daddy, and the way that Riley lives is there is winning and there is misery. I do not think of Pat Riley as a happy person, and he's done a lot of winning because there's so much misery around the way that these people care that makes winning feel like a relief sometimes instead of a joy. Erik Spoelstra learned at Riley's knee and has had so much success that he'll brawl with Riley in a way that is healthy and the way that you might think of a father and son arguing because of what we're talking about here, where Erik Spoelstra knows no other basketball life other than working under that man, and that man knows you cost them the game last night. In a way that is a real suffering for these guys who care about, can I get this guy this much of an advantage so he could be a better player? It's not even that Spo minds the televised embarrassment. It's not even that he cares deeply about his job. He's got to walk into that room where those guys are giving their body to the cause and be like, man, I'm always telling you guys to be better, and I'm the one with the amateur brain fart at the end. That hurts him most with his players and coworkers because he single-handedly brought that into the building today.
Well, not single-handedly. Bam cost them the game yesterday.
Yeah. What do you imagine the conversation was like after the game with Spo and Riley?
Yeah.
What do you imagine?
Riley probably knows how much he's going to wear, right? And takes it easy on him?
I assume they don't talk at all after that. And I would further assume that if Riley dares to talk to him, it's to offer him comfort and support because as a coach, he would know how bad that would feel. I'm telling you, there's not a worse feeling than that one for a coach anywhere in sports. It's not losing a championship. It's single-handedly being responsible for betraying the guys who count on you when they count on you to give them a sliver of advantage.
But we're acting like this game was in the Eastern Conference Finals, not a game that could have gotten them to 5-5 on the season, and now they're 4-6. Oh no!
In a season where there's understandable pressure given where the core is at. You have a game like that one where you were getting blown out of the building by the Pistons early in the game. You claw all the way back. Tyler Hero has one of these types of games that get you back into it. They get to overtime. Tyler hits a go-ahead bucket with 2 seconds left. And just purely out of the frustration and confusion as to how a play happens, Spo loses his mind and not just calls a timeout, oh, it doesn't happen, they get a technical. With the rule being they get the ball back, that ends the game. So this could have been a game that goes to double overtime. Tyler leads him back. You feel great. You're on a 6-game road trip where now you get to 5-5 with back-to-back games against Indiana. You're feeling so much better than you did at the start of this year where things have been weird. And now that game ends up a loss despite all the good things to take away from it. Those are the types of games that do keep coaches up at night.
I think that everything that Billy is saying is totally reasonable. And I think what Erik Spoelstra does for a living is not. And the way that it has to be approached is not. Like, Billy is absolutely saying, come on, coach, have some perspective.
Right.
And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, maybe the Derek White game felt that bad because of the stakes involved, who you're playing.
Different for Spo, though, because that wasn't necessarily 100% his move. This is one of the only times in basketball where a coach can make a move that directly costs their team the game, or at least the opportunity to win the game, because it would have just gone to double overtime.
Well, get it together, because you have another NBA Cup game coming up, and we can't let this one affect the rest of this group stage of the tournament. Like, get it together, Spo. We can't let this keep us up at night. Like, focus on the next game against the Pacers.
Mm-hmm. Billy, I would actually...
Imagine if this season unravels because of this.
Yeah.
Because he can't get it together.
Yeah.
That's not what we need.
Yeah.
We need now more than ever for Spo to be a leader against the Pacers.
Move on.
I would actually like to have you lead us into a lighter, more joyful tomorrow by being the life coach. I know you're trying. And I would say that there is great learning to be done in the wisdom that you are presently giving Erik Spoelstra, who I'm sure is listening to this show right now.
Probably not.
Because he wants to consume every single thing today that's being said about an intergalactic brain fart.
I would tell him, don't listen to anything today. Coach, if you're listening now, turn it off.
Yep.
I mean, put it on mute. Like, we don't want our, ratings to be affected, but like, put it on mute and walk away. But don't listen to anything else. Not today, buddy.
I think that buddy felt a little condescending, the same way that my Renee Latchman baby felt condescending.
No, it was a buddy. Like, we're friends.
You
like,
didn't say it like
take
that.
a mental health day.
I didn't say it like
you know
that.
What I mean?
I didn't. I did say Latch, you're in your underwear. I did not say it's all.
That's something you would say.
It's all fun and games, baby. Is not what I said to Renee Latch.
Tighty whities for Latch, we assume, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's who would say it that way? Because I'm going to make a musty reference, but I sounded like Telly Savalas. I sounded like Kojak. I don't know.
Who loves you,
why.
baby?
Like Greg.
I don't know why I threw a baby at the end of that story.
I don't know either of those people.
Wow.
That's unfortunate.
Terry, what?
It is Kojak, and his name is Telly. Telly, not Terry.
He looks
like a
kind of like
Muppet.
Pitbull.
Telly Savalas. He looks like Dana White.
Yeah, silent T on the last name.
Yes,
Bezos, kind of.
Go ahead. Yes, it's just another bald guy, the keeper for Atlanta FC that got caught
Joe
in the
Rogan.
net. Just anybody.
Guzman.
Yes, anybody. Pinhead from Hellraiser. Go ahead, video. Find Telly Savalas for us. Kojak. Kojak was of a time that was so cool, Tony. You guys wouldn't even understand that he was a detective who solved cases, and he did it while sucking on a lollipop. How's that?
Yeah, cool.
How's that? And he was bald. And America loved him because he solved stuff while bald, and he would say things like, "Who loves you, baby?"
If Greg brought him up, you would crush
That's
him. This guy was
correct.
born
no
in
doubt.
1922.
No doubt.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. But
Yes.
it's the last time that I can remember someone.
It's like Dracula.
He does look
Dracula.
like Bela Lugosi.
Oh, he's
And
great.
I love that the photo they're using is black and white, as if Kojak wasn't on television that had color. But
The first episode was in 1973.
who else would use the phrase baby famously at the end of a sentence, though?
Austin Powers.
Okay, that
Yeah,
would have
it's a
been
good one.
yes, thank you.
Yes.
But he does say it facetiously. I guess he does try and say it cool the same way that Telly did. Old Telly did.
Ali Tavalis.
I am right now a child. I'm on the floor as a child. I'm a 6-year-old watching this because my dad loves it. And Kojak was the coolest back then.
Telly's name was Aristoteles.
Oh man, you got to keep it the way that it was. You can't make that Telly. That name, his actual name is better than Telly. It's cooler than Telly.
I like Telly.
I like Telly too, but how do you spell what you're saying there? Aristotle, what?
It's like Aristotle and then L-I-S at the end. Aristotelis. Aristoteles.
Aristotelis or Aristoteles? I like that. That's pretty strong. Which do you like better?
Greek American.
Put it on the poll, please. Juju at Lebitard Show. Cooler name, Telly or Aristoteles?
Hey, podcasters, it's Mike Ryan, and let me tell you something. The NBA's got a lot going for it right now. Bright young stars hitting the court, teams playing exciting brands of basketball, and celebrities everywhere you look courtside. It's no wonder why tickets are in demand. Let me tell you about my favorite on the secondary ticket marketplace, and that is Game Time, and their amazing new feature called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With Game Time Picks, it helps make curation easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever else tickles your fancy. Also, they've got all-in pricing. This feature is huge. Push of a button, you get no surprises at checkout, you know exactly what to budget for. You get panoramic seat views, and of course, Game Time's lowest price guarantee, where Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find a better price out there. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time.
Don Le Batard.
But it's just his titties are sitting on the shelf that is his belly.
Stugotz.
You said titties, and it like shocked me a little bit. I wasn't quite prepared for titties.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Can you guys find for me the fight from last night's Panther game? They lost last night. Stugotz. They had the longest winning streak in the sport, right? It was 7 games. Can you tell me, is Winnipeg converting on half of its power plays? Is it up to half where they're converting at like a rate greater than McDavid?
I told you yesterday, watch out for that team.
You did say that. Mm-hmm. The Panthers lose last night, and the fight was pretty epic. If this happened in basketball, we would raid the facilities with a bunch of authorities and never allow anyone to play basketball again. But it's hockey, so we just watch it and enjoy it.
42.2% on the power play.
Jesus.
Yeah, okay. So they just score every time they've got a power play.
Watch out.
Yes, watch out for the Jets. Not Stugotz's Jets, the other Jets.
I actually want to play this with the sound because it has a funny call. So let's hit this, guys.
And now we've got a trumpet of blows. Heavyweight battle. Adjuvant's throwing blows with Brendan Dillon. Wow. Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah.
These are two tough customers.
Tough customers as a phrase. Tony was asking, where does that come from? Tough customers, because that was a good deal beyond tough customers. What I was just watching.
It's a tough cookie.
And it was several realms. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Tougher, cookies or customers?
For the audio audience, the Panther somehow wins the fight while having his jersey over his head. Well, because he didn't get hit. I mean, it was just like crazy. Yeah. At one point, the Panther jersey is over his head, so you're like, oh, this is bad news for him. And he goes on to win the fight, not being able to see.
All right, let's do this, please. Just real quick. Restart the video in a moment, and I want, Chris, I want you and me to count on each side. I'll count the number of punches being thrown by the Panther. You count the number of punches thrown by the New Jersey Devil.
Okay.
And I will just cover this with you because the video audience can see what we're showing, but the audio audience doesn't understand that this fight, Roy, you help me with this.
Yeah.
This is super unusual to see these two guys throw haymakers, not just these two guys, but any two guys throw this many haymakers just holding on to each other. This is an unusual length for this to last without anyone getting in the way or anyone going down.
Nah, this looked like a late 80s, early 90s fight.
Just so I'm clear, who is counting what?
13,
I'm going to count 14, the Panther punches.
16. Are we starting it again?
Chris Cody is going to count the Devil punches. Okay. And because I want to give to the audio audience the understanding here of this is a fight that's lasting a good, 25 seconds?
Yeah, and it's just constant punches.
And it's just constant right hands from each of them. Go ahead and start it again. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 34, all of them connected.
Devil only 33.
All of them connecting, though. It's not like 34 and some of them are grazing.
What was that?
ESPN gave a number. They gave 37.
That was an insane fight. That's what that was.
That was Brendan Dillon of the Doubles and Jonah Gadjevich of the Panthers.
So 37 was the number?
Yeah.
Is that a fine for Dan?
That's unofficial.
It was a lot, Stugotz. I don't know if you think you're being helpful here. You're not.
I mean,
you're not.
The Devils switched hands mid-fight.
I was trying to organize it. Who's counting who? I mean,
the messier it is, the funnier it is, the more ridiculous it is. I don't know why this is the moment you want order all of a sudden.
I just wanted to find you.
Today is the day you've decided, okay, everybody, let's get it together and do this correctly.
Order, I say.
Who was that?
That was from Titanic. The guy, when there's people are going crazy and he has to shoot in the air because they want to get on the boat. He's like, order! Order, I say!
You have a lot of Titanic impressions.
I have a child. It's a good flick. Stop on it every time.
I've never seen it.
Overrated.
What?
I know how it ends. I'm good.
Yeah.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is Titanic overrated as a movie?
Tough customer is an idiom that refers to a person or thing that is difficult to deal with.
But why? Why are they called?
Because sometimes customers, Dan,
they're tough.
Pain in the ass.
Wait, is your definition of tough customer just a customer that's difficult to deal with?
That is. He looked for a formal
That's a
definition.
definition, right?
Yes.
He wants origins.
I read it beautifully, by the way.
Who said that first is what kind of weird.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not looking for what tough customer means. I know what tough customer means.
See, a customer is someone who purchases things.
I'm trying to figure out how it is that the customer became so tough that all of a sudden I'd be watching a fight where someone is taking 35 blows to the face, and the phrase that I'm using is, that's one tough customer.
Well, Tony told you. I mean,
did you guys know Ving Rhames was Kojak? Tony
That's
said when
the
you were
only
talking about
Kojak
Kojak,
I
he
know.
goes, I thought it was Ving Rhames.
That's the only Kojak I know. Ving Rhames,
Crazy.
2005.
When was he? Did he do a remake of Kojak?
Oh, yeah.
He did?
Oh, yeah. There was 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, but he did it.
There was a black Kojak?
Yeah, so when you said Kojak, I was like, oh, Ving Rhames is black.
When?
And then I saw that guy as a Dracula. It's not the same guy.
Roy, I'm asking you this question because you're a buff of trivia, not because you're black. Did you know that there was a black Kojak?
Yeah.
Okay.
9 episodes, that show.
Gone too soon, Dan.
Blowjack.
What?
Bojack. Bo Jackson?
Blowjack? Black?
Kojak.
Yeah, I understand. Thanks, Chris.
Co-Black was right there.
In 1984, Robbie Bosco was the quarterback for BYU. Trevor Maddich was the center.
Wow, no wonder he talks about BYU all the time. This guy.
I didn't realize that Trevor Maddich was on the undefeated team that, again, at the end of the season, you know how they decided? A bunch of sports writers got together and just said, they're champions. That's how that got decided back then.
Here's a name on that team that you'll love. Vi Sikahema. What a team.
How much of our audience is learning right now, in the day of Kojak, people just wandered over and voted, yeah, I think they're the best. That's how we decided the champion in college football. Like 60 sports writers were like, yeah.
Sometimes there were ties.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is it crazier than saying, like, I think this is the 8th best team in the country right now?
No, we still do it the same.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
just as ridiculous, but you guys make fun of me every time I say the championship measurements are
The
stupid.
bracket throws me off. Enough of this bracket.
It's weird.
UM is 9, but they're 4th in the bracket, so they're really 4.
Right. Georgia's on the outside looking in, but they're ranked ahead of Boise State. The whole thing is
Wait,
weird.
you guys aren't in on this? I'm in on this 12-team playoff.
It's
I
just
love the
confusing.
bracket.
Right,
I love
that's
it. I love that everyone's still in it.
No, I've completely flipped my opinion on this because before the season I was railing against it. I liked college football the way it was, but I am sold on it.
You just ripped it.
The way they present it is a little bit confusing.
Yeah, the
That's
presentation
all.
could be
that's all
cleaned
I'm
up a
saying.
bit.
There is an interesting thing here. This is not the best crew to discuss it with, though, because the divide that we have on our show is, to me, where it is a lot of people in college football are, where you have Lucy and Mike and Jessica rabidly arguing over the details, and Stugotz wandering over, just being like, yeah, I like 7 teams. I think I could put this one here and there. And I think a lot of people are doing it the way Stugotz is doing it. Like,
including the committee.
Yeah. Tell me when it's all over. There are the people who care rabidly and will argue about this nonstop.
Yep.
And then there are a lot of people who are like, yeah, I care plenty on weekends, but not as much as you. And I'll see you in a few weeks or a few months when the games are being decided. And all of them are welcome in the tent. I just just think that one group gets really frustrated by the other. And I don't think it's Stugotz caring enough to get frustrated by Jessica, Lucy, and Mike and the way that they care about this, which is totally different from the way Stugotz cares about it, which is just give me a tournament with Alabama and the 5 teams that beat Alabama. And even if Alabama's got 5 losses, I just want to see Alabama play the SEC teams.
Yeah, do it against Alabama. I mean, listen, I don't criticize them for taking it so seriously. They should not criticize others for not taking it that seriously.
But that's what happens whenever somebody cares deeply about something that someone else doesn't care about enough except to criticize. Like, that's the whole thing. The whole game is somebody cares deeply. You never care. You only care enough to bitch about it, and you don't know anything. People get frustrated by you being that person.
The quarterback coach for that BYU team, Mike Holmgren.
Yeah.
I might not know anything about the college football playoff rankings, but I do know that ultimately, because it's a TV product picked by the TV network, the matchups are just going to be whatever sets up for the best possible storylines, right? Like, there's no way that they're not factoring that in when they're picking a 12-team playoff now, because ultimately, like, you look at it right now, Tennessee sitting at 8, they have a matchup where if they win, all right, it's Josh Heupel against his former quarterback and Dylan Gabriel. You have Alabama and Indiana, which is interesting because it's the team that's never been there against the team that's always there. Ultimately, it's a TV product, and now that it's not just 4 teams, they're already on SEC Network doing the groundwork to make you believe that a 1-loss Indiana that loses to Ohio State shouldn't be as valuable as a potential 3-loss SEC team, because it's about their tie-ins, their networks, their conferences, and the best possible storylines.
I think, didn't McAfee have someone on yesterday, a committee member who said, she said, I believe.
Yeah, it was Heather Dinich.
A 3-loss SEC team, sure, I'd put them in. Well, you said ultimately a TV, made-for-TV product, always been a made-for-TV product, and always been a made-for-TV product that does a very good job of disguising that it's a made-for-TV product, because you want it to be about merit, argument, sports discussion, and we're still doing it the way the sports writers did, where they're just like, yeah, I think them would make a good story. and we're pretending that it's something else. But no, it's a bunch of people getting together and giving you exactly the menu items that you want so that you can be entertained, because it's all fun and games, baby.
But we've also learned that, like, rewarding the record doesn't work. Like, we've had a lot of blowouts in the 4-team playoff system that were not competitive games.
Correct.
Because it's like, hey, let's put this team in because they deserve to be there. Let's give them a seat at the table. And it's like, oh, no, they're not as good as an SEC team after all.
That is my concern. Of the 12 teams, how many of those teams actually have a real chance of winning a national championship?
Well, this year more than ever.
This year, yes, I would agree.
And it's totally different than it has been. And the secret sauce that the NFL has that college football does not have is, in the NFL, they're really all kind of equal every single weekend. College football is closer to that, but you guys know who you think are the best 6 teams in the country. Like, you know who you take and put there. We'd all largely agree. And then the other 6 will surprise us to make some sort of, or will or won't surprise us because one game samples. But all of us would agree on whatever the best 6 or 8 teams are that will get in easily. And now we'll just argue about the other 4 as opposed to arguing about just 4. But all of it has always been only a made-for-television event because it's disguised as something else. But you do understand that, right? It is only a made-for-television event.
Yeah.
Like, we file it under sports and we make it, maybe this will be measurements and merit-based and everything else, but it's only meant to entertain you, and it does that wildly successfully.
I'm okay if the committee is saying to themselves, hey, what are the games that are going to entertain the public the most, and that's the field they put out there for us to see.
But Stugotz, the people who care the most get mad at that and those people is what I'm saying, because they want it to be merit-based, not entertainment-based. What I'm saying to you about what we're discussing is it's the source of tension between people who care about something deeply. It's the source of tension between Spo and Billy.
Yeah, I mean, there's no tension there. I'm fine. I'm trying to help them out, tell them to relax. Exactly right. Yeah. And I would say, by the way, the people that get frustrated are the people that were arguing that FSU should have been in the playoffs last year. And look at FSU this year. Obviously, they lost a lot of people, but that's the point. FSU should not have been in the playoffs last year.
Why? It's one season.
Because
one
they got
season where
blown
they win
out in their
every
bowl
single
game.
game.
They lost by like
their
60 points.
They lost their quarterback.
So that's
but
why they shouldn't have
deserved
been.
They deserved it based off merit. You win every single game, you're supposed to be there. That's why we're saying it's a made-for-TV product. And that's not necessarily a bad thing for the result, because ultimately, look, I was the guy caping up for undefeated UCF in 2017, right? But the team that went in ahead of them was the team that was led by Jalen Hurts to the college football playoff as a 4 seed that ends with one of the great college football moments of Tua throwing a pass at the end of the game to win it over Georgia, a 4 seed that ultimately wins, that was a 2-loss Alabama that was picked ahead of an undefeated UCF. The committee does a good job. They create good storylines. They create what they believe to be the 4 most competitive teams. In that case, now the 12, and it's better that there are things in place like the highest group of 5 team or the 4 highest ranked conference champions to now give at least a little validity to, hey, winning all of your games matters.
But they were proven right. FSU was not one of the 4 best teams after losing their quarterback.
But then we're having a conversation about what are the 4 best teams at the end of the season and who had the 4 best seasons, because those are 2 different arguments. And if the whole premise is the season doesn't matter, it's about peaking at the end and having a resume that's good enough for me to argue you're now one of the 4 best teams, that's different than the rest of professional sports. It's necessary here because of the disparity between conferences, but it's not the same as arguing that any of this is merit-based.
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. The holiday season is right around the corner. That means you're away more, and burglars know it. That means you need to protect your home. Right now, Simply Safe is giving exclusive early access to its Black Friday sale to Batard Show listeners. Simply Safe is the home security I trust to keep my home and family safe. Simply Safe is a new way to protect your home that stops intruders before they break into your home. Old school systems only take action once someone is already inside your home. That's too late. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection changes the game by preventing crime before it even happens. If someone's lurking around or acting suspiciously, those agents see them in real time, talk to them directly, set off your spotlight, and even call the police before they've had a chance to break in. Simply Safe is offering my listeners exclusive early access to their Black Friday sale. This week only, you can take 60% off any new system with a select professional monitoring plan. This is their best offer of the year. Head to simplysafe.com/DLB to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this holiday season. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Folks, the Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance to the single elimination in-season tournament, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. Here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DAN. That's code DAN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
Don Le Batard.
Mike Ryan's in there, and he's the one with a baby. He's the one who's got to, worry about what the future is. And Mike Ryan bet on DraftKings because Mike Ryan bet on us. This is the bet you're afraid of doubling down on? Putting up a billboard in Edmonton?
Stugotz.
I care more about Matthew Kachuk than I do my daughter.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Stugotz, I didn't expect when we began today to end up in a discussion about last year's FSU Seminoles when I can enjoy this year's FSU Seminoles being 1-9.
9 L's, yeah.
Norvell spelled with 9 L's.
Yeah, 1984 BYU team, their wide receivers coach, Norm Chow.
By the way, Dan, I don't know if you intentionally did this or not, but we found a reason for hope for you in the last segment. I don't even think you're aware of it.
Yeah.
You said that the big difference between college and the NFL is that NFL teams are all essentially the same.
Mm-hmm.
So if all the teams are essentially the same,
all close.
then 3-6 team is something to be hopeful for if they're all on a level playing field.
I was actually thinking about this. I would like to rank the NFL teams.
Wow.
I think that would be great. Like, imagine this Thursday you have number 6 Washington taking on number 8 Philadelphia.
Well, they are kind of ranked.
I know, but it would be really cool if we did that. Like, where would you rank the Dolphins right now? They're getting healthy at the right time.
I think you guys should do that on God Bless Football.
Maybe we will.
You can go the anti-FSU argument, right? FSU was undefeated, but they lost their quarterback, so they're out.
Yes.
The Dolphins, hey, they have 6 losses, but who cares? With Tua, they're 2-3. The offense is looking better. They're actually the 10th best team in the country.
Yeah.
Stugotz, Chris has told me in my ear that you have something on your lip. Can you look at me here? I cannot see it. I cannot see what might be.
Sure. What is it?
Oh, no. No, don't eat it. No.
I'm hungry.
No way!
Was it a booger?
Oh no! What was that?
Might have been spittle. I hope it was
no,
spittle.
it wasn't. No, that had a consistency to it that wasn't watery. No,
It was delicious.
Oh God! No, you guys need to on video. You need to isolate that. And Chris, I need you to isolate as well, please, the sound that the announcer made in the middle of that Panther-Devil fight. The single sound that.
Do you have more of that?
Announcer made. I don't know what that was. Roy, did you see what that was?
No,
on
thank God.
Stugotz's lip. Did any of you see? That was a solid piece of something. That was not water. That was not dry mouth. That was not.
It could have been dry mouth because I had that bread that we have on Wednesdays when I walked in today. That's all I had, and I haven't drank any water. So it could be, whatever. Whatever it was, it's in my belly.
That was not spittle. That was something that was solid.
It's something that's being digested right now.
And what you just did was deeply unpleasant. Billy, are you disgusted? Or are you mortified? Or are you just par for the course? God Bless Football is going to rank NFL teams now because I don't dislike Stugotz's
be fun
idea. I just don't like it as content very much because it feels to me like just going through the schedule and asking Stugotz's opinion on who's going to win.
I'm not trying to do it here. I'm just saying it would be a good idea if the NFL did it that way. That's all. It'd be exciting, I think. Ooh.
All right.
It seems like a fun thing for your social media.
Yeah.
Let's put this on television here, this thing on Stugotz's face. Let's do this investigation. Go closer up here, please. Can you get closer? You guys can see whether or not this is solid or not, right? That is not spittle. And that is that is unpleasant. That's probably some that is a piece of bread. I think that was probably in your teeth before, and as you were giving opinions, came out of your teeth and just rested on your lip. Yeah, we're all properly disgusted by that. Let's move on. It's distracting, but we don't need to stay there, and I'm sorry that I ventured there at all. Chris, it's your fault by saying to me in my ear, I couldn't see it from over here. It's been there for a while.
Imagine this Sunday, 4:25 p.m., the number 1 ranked Chiefs versus the number 3 ranked Bills.
Oh, wow. Would the Chiefs be ranked number 1, though? Or would it be the Lions?
They would not.
Right?
The Chiefs would not be number 1. The committee would shock everyone by making the Lions number 1.
Just to get us to talk.
Yes, because the Chiefs the Chiefs have won all their games by 1 score, right? Isn't that reminiscent of what like the Vikings were a couple of years ago when we thought they were good, but they weren't actually good because they won all of their games by 1 score? Have the Chiefs had any 2-score games?
Yes, they beat
the Saints.
They beat the Niners and the Saints by double digits, but other than that, all single-digit games.
So do you guys remember the Viking team I'm talking about that started super strong with a quarterback in Kirk Cousins that not a lot of people believed in, but all they were winning was 1-score games, and then when they got to the playoffs, they ended up getting exposed. I do think it's funny that we're doing this with the Chiefs, and we're granting them understandably because they've won 9 straight games when they're down in the second half, and they've won 15 games straight overall. I do understand why it is that people would be looking at that and giving them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, they just know how to do that winning thing, and they're not going to stumble against anybody in the playoffs because they have it is fairly amazing to me that they got there before Mahomes turned 30. That they got there to where everyone will agree on, they'll just figure out something. No matter what you have, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, great running game, don't care what you have, they'll figure out something at the end.
They have Spags. They do. They have beaten the 49ers. They beat the Bengals early in the season. They have beaten Baltimore, and people are still questioning this team, which is, and I'm one of them, by the way.
Be careful.
Well,
that Vikings team started 8-1. This is back in 2022. They had one loss at the Philadelphia Eagles in week 2 that was by a couple of scores. They had a win in week 1 that was by a couple of scores. And then they rattled off 7 straight one-score wins. And then ultimately lost in the wild card round.
Nobody would think that those Vikings had an ability to win one-score games.
Correct.
Everyone thinks the Chiefs do.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yes.
Everyone thinks.
Yep. They'll figure out a way.
The Chiefs do. And that is a crazy distinction to be making about a football team, because I remember how much we were trying to talk ourselves into those Vikings might be good and couldn't quite do it. Couldn't quite figure out how to do it, but they're the same. In fact, my guess would be, Jeremy, that their point differential over those 9 games, those Vikings, probably even better than the Chiefs. I'm guessing that it's even better because the Chiefs are just at like plus 50 or something, Stugotz. It's not some great point differential, right? Like, look at where it is they are at 9-0.
The Chiefs are plus 58 right now. I mean, that's crazy. 9 games, 58.
But they're just, all they do is win close games. And I think what I am saying to you is most of my life outside of maybe Brady, ever since I got into the arithmetic of sports, the Bill James and how it is that you do the measurements, most of my life, winning one-score games is not an ability. Right. Michael Jordan. Like, they're just a few legends where we say, oh, that person has an ability to do that no matter who you are on the other side, you're going to lose to that person. Even if you're MVP Lamar Jackson, I'm going to be watching the game and everybody's going to be watching the game. And just like Brady coming down the field at the end, you've left him too much time.
Yeah.
You've left Andy Reid, Mahomes, too many ways to still beat you, and they will, I expect it.
Or you left them enough time and they'll block a field goal.
Well, Peyton got cute there. Did you see Peyton?
You're right.
1 second left.
Yes.
I want only 1 second left. Watch how I do this. 1 second, not 2 seconds, not 3 seconds, 1 second.
The Vikings were plus 32 that year through 9 games.
Okay, even worse.
That's crazy.
Yes, that's winning them all by a field goal.
Plus 32 at 8-1?
Yes, that's winning. There it is. That's what I was looking for. That's what happens when tough customers square off in a hockey game. That is an old Italian man having sex.
I think he's Jewish.
Yeah, for sure Jewish.
Are you ready to do your 5 Jewish quarterback names? Are you ready to do that now?
I am ready to do it. I might have more than 5. I'm not even certain. I spent the better half of the day doing this yesterday after the show. So
it was very popular. I got calls about it yesterday. I got calls, people celebrating, saying that it was perfect. Not only the list was perfect, but your mistake on just getting Shaloms wrong when saying Patrick Shaloms, that the way you made the mistake was even funnier than if you had nailed the joke. OLI?
I have some OLI, sure. Johnny Junitas. Johnny Jew. Gary Dradelson. Todd Minorovich. Jacoby Brisket. I got to count here. 1, 2, 3. Drew Locks. Mike Bagel.
Who's Mike Bagel?
Mike Bagel. The old Colts quarterback. You don't remember him?
My bad.
Come on, he had some great years, Bagel. He never had a great year. I'm joking.
Go look up Jeremy Mike Bagel's best year.
Nice.
I'd totally forgotten about Mike Bagel for very good reasons.
Yeah. Yam Brady. Mel Kapoor Jr.
Have we gotten to the numbers yet? Have we gotten to number 5 yet, or you're just going to keep...
Ryan Fitzpatrick. We need a coach. Robert Holla.
Mike Pagel's best year was 14 touchdowns, 15 picks.
Oh, it was a doozy. Back then, I mean, that was everything. Chauffeur Sanders. I'm done.
So far?
Yeah, but you have to do it, though.
Season's greetings, podcast audience. It's Mike Ryan, and now is that time of year where you start hosting your family gatherings, be it Thanksgiving, be it the upcoming holiday season. You're going to have some folks in town. You're going to be doing some entertaining. So why don't you make your family time a Miller time? It's the first thing that I roll out when I got guests over at the house, an ice-cold bucket filled with that beautiful white can. See, Miller time makes family time all the more special because, for one thing, it's got taste that you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just a great beer for people who like beer. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. It's got simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and an iconic golden color. And at just 96 calories and 3.2 grams of carbs per 12 ounces, Miller Time is always a good time, even during the festive times. Making memories at year-end gatherings tastes like Miller Time. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.